After fighting crime, Superman wanted to do something. He flew to Wonder Woman's apartment to see if she was available. When he landed on her balcony, he saw Wonder Woman without clothes on the bed with her legs wide open. Superman thought to himself, "I'm faster than a bullet. That's too fast. I can go there, make love, and get out again before he knows what happened." So Superman did a great job in a fraction of a second and flew away happily. "Did you hear anything?" asked Wonder Woman on the bed. "No," the Invisible Man said. "But surely my back is as warm as hell and it hurts."
A man is sitting at a bar in a skyscraper restaurant high above the city. He slams a shot of tequila, goes over to the window, and jumps out. The guy sitting next to him can't believe what he just saw. He's more surprised when 10 minutes later, the same guy walks back into the bar and sits down next to him. The astonished onlooker asks, "How did you do that? I just saw you jump out the window and we're hundreds of feet above the ground." The jumper responds by slurring. "Well, I don't get it either. I slam a shot of tequila, and when I jump out the window, the tequila makes me slow down right before I hit the ground. Watch this," he says. He takes a shot, goes to the window, and jumps out. The other guy runs to the window, watches as the guy falls to just above the sidewalk where suddenly he slows down and lands softly on his feet. A few minutes later, the drunk man who just jumped out the window stumbles back into the bar. Seeing this, the other guy just has to try it too, so he orders a shot of tequila. He slams it down and without hesitation jumps out the window. As he reaches the sidewalk, he doesn't slow down at all. Splat! The first guy orders another shot of tequila. The bartender shakes his head. "You really are a prick when you're drunk, Superman."
So, a man is dying in the hospital. He's surrounded by his 2 sons, his daughter, his wife, and a nurse. He turns to his family and says, "Peter, my eldest, I leave you the villas in Beverly Hills. Samantha, my beautiful daughter, to you I give the apartments in Los Angeles Plaza. Charlie, my youngest son, I see a long and bright future in you, so I leave the city center offices to you. And my dear wife, the 3 residential towers in downtown are all yours." The nurse hears all of this and is impressed at the man's sizable fortune. She turns to the wife and says, "Miss, your husband must be very rich to be bequeathing so many properties. You all are so lucky." The wife retorts, "Rich? Lucky? Are you kidding me? He's a milkman. He's giving us his roots." So a Jewish grandmother is giving directions to her grown grandson, who is coming to visit with his wife. "You come to the front door of the apartment complex. I am in apartment 301. There is a big panel at the front door. With your elbow push button 301, and I will buzz you in. Come inside. The elevator is on the right. Get in, and with your elbow, push 3. When you get out, I'm on the left. With your elbow, hit my doorbell." "Grandma, that sounds easy," replies the grandson. "But why am I hitting all these buttons with my elbow?" The grandmother replies, "What? You coming empty-handed?" So, 2 bowling teams, one of all blondes and one of all brunettes, charter a double-decker bus for a weekend trip to Louisiana. The brunette team rode on the bottom level of the bus, and the blonde team rode on the top level. The brunette team down below really whooped it up, having a great time when one of them realized she hadn't heard anything from the blondes upstairs. She decided to go up and investigate. When the brunette reached the top, she found all the blondes in fear, staring straight ahead at the road, clutching the seats in front of them with white knuckles. The brunette asked, "What on earth's going on up here?" "We're having a great time downstairs." One of the blondes looked up at her, swallowed hard, and whispered, "Yeah, but you got a driver." So I will always remember the advice my parent gave me. "Son, if you're planning to go to the forest, always remember to pack a radio, a flare, and a pack of cards. If you get lost, you can try to use the radio to call someone. If you run out of batteries, you can shot the flare up into the air. The cards? Well, if the radio doesn't work and the flare gets wet, you sit down and play solitary. Sooner than later, someone will tap you in the shoulder to ask you why don't you move the Queen of Hearts to the King of Cubs." So, in a small American town, nestled amidst rolling hills and peaceful streets, there stood a rather significant factory known that hires only married men. One day, a local woman decided to address her concerns and called upon the factory's manager and asked him, "Why is it you limit your employees to married men? Is it because you think women are weak, dumb, cantankerous, or what?" "Not at all, miss," the manager replied. "It is because our employees are used to obeying orders, are accustomed to being shoved around, know how to keep their mouths shut, and don't pout when I yell at them." So a rich-looking woman walks into a butcher's shop. She looks at the poultry on display and finally selects the scrawniest chicken. A little surprised, the butcher picks it up, gives her the total, and she's on her merry way. The next week, the lady returns, and again, despite all her apparent wealth, she chooses the smallest chicken. The butcher again complies, and off she goes. The third week, same scenario. She ignores the pole de Bresse, the pheasants, the pintades, the fine cuts. Just the ugliest, smallest chicken. Finally, the butcher's curiosity gets the better of him, so he asks, "Madam, if I may ask, you've been coming into my shop for weeks, buying nothing but the scrawniest chickens. I may be bold to assume you seem rather well off. Surely, if price was an issue, you could get much better value at the local supermarket? So why do you come into this shop only to buy these subpar chickens?" The lady laughs and says, "Oh, don't worry. I understand completely how strange this may look. But you see, while I personally like a nice succulent chicken breast, my husband loves the small pieces, wings, legs, and especially the necks. So I choose the chickens with the longest necks, so he can have his favorite while I enjoy the rest of the chicken." "I see," says the butcher. "That's adorable. But wouldn't you prefer a better kind of chicken providing it still had that long neck?" "Why, yes, I would love that," she replies. "But how? I've been coming here for weeks, and it's always the smallest chickens that have those long necks." "Leave it to me," replies the butcher. "Come back in 2 weeks' time, and I'll make sure you get my best pole de Bresse with that long neck for your husband, and a 200 times better quality meat for yourself." As promised, 2 weeks later, the butcher presents her with the most beautiful chicken you've ever seen. It also has a very long neck. The lady is, of course, delighted and happily pays the premium price. The next day, she comes back to the shop, raving about how excellent the chicken was. Her husband loved the neck, both for its length, but also because it was so much more flavorful than the usual chicken necks he had. The lady, herself, too, had nothing but 5-star comments on the quality of the poultry. So, She asks the butcher if he can get her a chicken like that every week. The butcher happily agrees. After all, he's making a great margin on those chickens. So, this goes on for months on end. Each week, the butcher delivers an excellent, long-necked chicken to the lady. Gradually, they get to know each other better over the usual small talk. So one day, many months later, the lady asks the butcher, after all these months, "I've been wondering just how you could provide me so suddenly with these long-necked chickens." "Well," says the butcher, "it's actually quite simple. When those chickens are raised, they're fed their grain on a special tray so we can track the quality of the food they eat. So I simply added half an inch each day to the height of the feeding tray, so the chicken had to stretch its neck more to get to the food. Over time, this stretched their necks so they grew to be much larger." "Oh my," exclaimed the lady. "That's quite ingenious. Do you think this would also work in other situations?" "What do you mean, madam?" asks the butcher. "Well, as you know, I dearly love my husband. That's for sure. Otherwise, you wouldn't be going through all this trouble for him," replies the butcher. "The thing is, as much as I love him, he's somewhat lacking in size, you know, down there," admits the lady, although she's clearly embarrassed to be talking about such a delicate matter. "Do you think this technique could work on him too?" "I don't see why not," says the butcher. "At least it's worth a try. Why don't you lie down on a table and invite him to you-know-what? Then gradually add some coins underneath the table's legs and see how it goes." Some weeks go by. The lady keeps coming for her chicken, but she doesn't seem particularly happy. So the butcher is afraid to bring up the subject of their last conversation. Still, after nearly 2 months, he decides to ask her about the experiment. "I'm sorry to inquire, but did anything come from the experiment we discussed? Was it successful?" he asks. "It was, yet it wasn't," replies the lady. "How so?" asks the butcher. The lady replies, "My husband now has 3-inch toes."
Through the great mental bowl, Lawrence Lim got 1,000,000 stories untold. From green jokes, conspiracies, and edits with flair. You gotta follow him, baby, if you dare. Your feed feels empty without his magic touch. You got the blues and the laughs that you crave so much. With a click and a follow, you'll find some relief. Lawrence Lim's social media, a digital belief. Click, subscribe, don't miss a trick. Now, hey, leave your worries and come on, click today. Lawrence Lim's got the content right in line. Follow him now.